Only when we truly know and understand we have limited time on earth, and we have no way of knowing when our time is up, that we will begin to live each day to the fullest, as if it were the only one we have. "20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bow lines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. The purpose of life, after all, is to live it, to taste experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear for a newer and richer experience. To those who stay put, the world is but an imaginary place. But to the movers, the makers, and the shakers, the world is all around, an endless invitation. So the only question left to ask yourself is, where should you go now?"
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everybody, wherever you may be around the world. Ali Midawi with a brand new installment of Yup Daily. And oh my goodness, I am super excited. This actually was a request made by so many individuals after our leadership session we had yesterday. I asked, hey, what should I train on tomorrow in our Yup Daily? And it was about 7 or 8 out of the 12 that were engaging in real time and like, oh, recruiting. So I was like, you know what? Recruiting it is. So if this is your very first time watching us, welcome. My name is Ali Midawi, and I am your host with the Avocado Toast. I am so happy and grateful to have each and every one of you in here with us. And if you're an entrepreneur, and specifically in a recruiting role, welcome, because this session is definitely for you. So let me go ahead and make sure I set the stage right here, right? So whenever people hear the concept of recruiting, the person who's in a position to recruit, they're automatically like, recruiting is a hard thing for me. I don't know if I want to focus or I want to do such a thing where I'm not good at it. They automatically kind of check out on the concept, right? On the other side, individuals who actually are in the prospect side of things, they don't like to be recruited, right? There's this feeling of I'm being targeted. But I'm here to tell you, anyone who is in a position of recruiting is in a position of elite leadership performance. Let me explain. When you think about the military, right, the recruiters are usually the highest trained individuals in the actual branches themselves. When you think about federal agencies, CIA, FBI, right, the recruiter is such like a peak IQ, got all the secret super, almost like a super agent kind of things, right? Think about when it comes to recruiting for sports, right? That recruiter always is putting together a super team, putting together an organization for or with a winning formula. So when you are in a recruiting role, you got to understand that within you, there is an actual value and talent, and you cannot do it by yourself. This is why you need to recruit. As a matter of fact, there are job recruiters, right? People who would actually be hired by companies to find qualified candidates for that company. And then they do the interviews and they get the talent for the company, and then they get paid when that talent is actually hired. So again, that's someone who already is in a position of leadership. So again, when you put yourself in a position, in a place of understanding that within you there is value, and you are connecting someone that is talented with an organization that will have perfect alignment for a movement to take place, that is why I'm okay with the concept of recruiting. I actually enjoy the concept of recruiting. It's like a talent acquisition expert, right? I'm looking for the best of the best. Now, where all of us go about it the wrong way, including myself, is that we tend to try to recruit everyone, including those who are not business savvy, including those who have no experience, including those who have no vision, including those who are negative, including those who don't understand the concept of business. We just go after everybody. If they breathe, they're recruitable, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that I personally don't, and I think you've heard me say it more than enough in the last 2+ years. I don't prospect everyone. I do pre-qualify everyone. I do talk to everybody to see where their head is at, who they are, how they operate, their core values, and then based on certain qualifications, aka core values, I would go ahead and attempt the idea of doing some collaboration with that individual, because sooner or later that relationship is going to thrive and make me and that person look like superheroes, or we're just going to hurt each other's networks and each other's businesses, which personally I think that is, working harder just to lose it over, a period of time. So I personally don't prospect everyone. So I got 3 pieces for you when it comes to recruiting, and I hope you are ready like I am, because I got some goodies for you. So number 1, posture. See, what you need is not a script or, some technique or some formula. First things that you need is posture. Recruiting is about having the confidence and knowing that what I got is good for you and is good for everybody around you. And I am really good at developing it, right? Now, it comes with some documentation, which we're going to talk about 2 and 3. They are all intertwined, but the main thing is posture. If you are in a place of authority, and here is how you're operating, like, hey, I got this business. I think you want to take a look at it, and I think it's a good business, and I think you're gonna do good, and you should look at it. Here's a video. Go watch the video. Man, no posture is automatically done, because posture comes with brings influence. Influence brings trust. Trust brings what we got to do next. Right? Like, it's an easier process for someone to get started with you if they trust you, if they're influenced by you, and your posture is a huge piece of that person to be influenced. Again, posture is not faking it and being a tough guy or a tough gal. Posture is just having enough confidence. Now, how do you generate enough confidence? Is by having enough knowledge. See, for those who are not confident about an approach or about a concept or a business model, it's just they just don't know enough about the model itself. They don't know enough about the history of the business. They don't know enough about the statistics, about the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And that's why they cannot find it within them to speak with confidence, aka having the posture. So for me, it doesn't matter what the person says, does. It could be skeptical, it could be negative, right? Like, I don't necessarily have many of those individuals, because like I said, I don't prospect everyone, but I every now and then have somebody that we're having a legitimate conversation with, a healthy conversation that would end up bringing some skepticism into the conversation. Most people would get defensive and try to fight their way and try to push back. Me, I welcome the skepticism with open arms, because I know my stuff and I can document the results or document the response that I'm going to give to that individual. So the very first thing you need to be a top recruiter is posture. Again, think about military. Think about people who are in that high leadership role who acquire talent for sport teams and whatnot. They have an incredible amount of posture. They know they got the goods, and they leverage that posture because it translates to influence and trust. All right. Number 2, if you're ready for a drop, number 2 is documentation. Now, when I say documentation, a lot of people always go to that cliche, documentation beats conversation each and every single day. And I understand that. But here's the thing. You don't have to be a mega millionaire to document yourself. Documentation means results. See, I'll tell you my story when before taking on the role of global master trainer. I had a coaching business that was thriving globally. And one of the things that I did when I started, this is back in 2015 when I started the coaching space. And I didn't know what I didn't know. I'm like, how do I get somebody to spend money on me? Everybody's like, can you show me some results? So I knew that I lacked documentation. So what I did is I reached out to 20 individuals from different network marketing companies, people I had good relationships with. And I told them the truth. Hey, listen, I'm launching a coaching program. It's a 30-day program. It's worth X amount of dollars. But because it is my first 30 days, I want to do some pilot tests, and it could be a perk for you. So what I want to do is do a complimentary 30-day training for you and all of your organization for free. I don't need anything from you. The only thing that I want you to do, if at the end of the program I delivered on everything you were anticipating and I promised to deliver, I want an amazing testimony. Just put a video out there and just give some kudos, give some shout outs, or just write some documentation for me that the impact that I created for your team. Now, what happened was those 20 people and their teams, they all went and they started bragging about Ali. Man, just got off a webinar with Ali, just worked with Ali, just did this with Ali. And the word just spread out that there's this guy named Ali who's creating these results for everyday average individuals in the network marketing space. Immediately after those 30 days, I started having high ticket paid clients that they weren't individuals only. They were network marketing companies that would hire me to speak or hire me to train for a period of time or hire me to consult based on the documentation that I created. So when you create documentation for you as well, even within your team right now, hey man, I would love if you could go on LinkedIn and write a recommendation for me. I would love if you can put a story and tag me on a takeaway that you've received from the training we did last night. Doing that is going to create a buzz and documentation. So when that individual that you are attempting to recruit, they're gonna say, so what kind of results should I expect, and what kind of results have you created? You can say, here, look at this one, look at this one, look at this one. In my Instagram, one of my highlights is called Success Stories, and I have 100 testimonies from individuals, like some of the best testimonies over a period of time. And I mean, anyone, anywhere, like, hey, well, how do I know? I'm like, well, there's 100 people that can tell you. Just go and hear it for yourself. And they're documented talking about the results that I created for them. So create documentation, no matter how minimum you think your success is. One documentation is worth a lot more than any commission that you can make. So make sure that you are documenting yourself with some success results. Number 3, if you're ready for it, drop it for me. And that is simplicity. So less is more. When I interact with a prospect, I don't approach them with a presentation. I don't approach them with a compensation plan. I don't approach them with a product explanation. I just ask simple questions. So what are you interested in, man? Like, well, is a business a thing that you have it in the books, or you're just not sure where you want to go with life? And if they say, no, I definitely want to get in business, I just don't know what. Well, let me help you identify some options. Would you consider getting in trading? Would you consider getting in health and wellness? Would you consider getting in the energy space? Would you consider getting in all the insurance space? Like, what is it that makes you really excited and motivated? Well, Ali, trading sounds fun. I just think it's complicated. Well, do you have a cell phone? Yes. Do you ever think of the idea of yourself just using your cell phone and doing some copy paste or learning a little by little how to be a trader? That could be something I can consider. Or if you were and everything was perfect, what would be an appropriate dollar amount that you would invest to initiate your education and your path to becoming a trader? See, I don't give a presentation. I find what the person wants and needs, and I give it to them. And when I hear, well, maybe something under $1,000 would make sense for me, and if I can do it around my job for my cell phone, man, it's a home run for me. Perfect. I got just the thing for you. Here's how, here's where. If you're ready to go, I am right now, and we can collaborate together. See, by asking the right questions, it doesn't put you in a position of selling, or it doesn't put you in a position of recruiting. It puts you in a position of educating, consulting, and giving value, where the person by default feels the posture, the influence, and the trust. You back it up with a little bit of documentation of the results. Hey, let me show you some of the people that I've worked with, or let me connect you on a 3-way messenger with some of the people that I worked with, just so they can give you some insights. And just like that, that person just closed the deal for you, whether it's a support team upline or whether it is from your team itself, whomever you've worked with. See, recruiting does not have to be hard. It's us as adults that overcomplicate it. We think the more I can tell you, the more information you're going to have, the more you're going to be impressed. When in reality, the more information you've given me, the more data that I have to process and the longer time I have to take, and the more I, as an adult, I'm overthinking it too. Because I'm thinking, man, if I have to remember all this stuff and this is just an introduction, how much more do I have to compromise and give up in order to learn the full scale? But when people ask me, well, how about this network marketing thing, man? Like, is it something that really works? I ask, have you ever recommended a movie before? Yes. Do you get paid for it? No. Would you like to? That'll be great. Okay. Have you ever recommended a restaurant before? Yes. Have you gotten paid for it? No. Would you like to? Yes. It's the same exact concept. All we do is we recommend services and goods that we enjoy using. And when the people actually use them, we get paid for it. And we can build a multi-conglomerate organizational international team based on all these raving fans who just enjoy the services and goods that we recommend to one another. It's really that simple. But we tend to want to be fancy and go into like all this in-depth. I am a business guru and I'm going to show you the code of the matrix. Why? Simple, simple, simple. If it isn't simple, it requires a lot more work on the brain to make an educated business decision, aka you were at a, oh my God, this is exciting too. I don't get it. It's hard. Let me talk to my husband or my wife. I'm not sure. I don't think I have the money. No, I'm scared. I'm skeptical. And just like that, you lost the individual. So saying less is definitely a best way for you to succeed, and answer the questions that you're being asked. And if you don't know the answer to that, hey, that's a great question. And because I'm very young in my journey, let me connect you with an expert that can educate you and I together. Let me just put them on a three-way because I want to hear their answer as well. And just like that, you're creating a three-way messenger. The last piece, and that's a ninja bonus for you. If you're ready for that, watch out! Ninja bonus for you. Here it comes. I don't know why I did that, but that sounded appropriate. Ninja bonus. Everything that I shared with you is great, but there's one common piece that will maintain you as a top recruiter, and that is consistency. If you are not consistent with your day-to-day income producing activity, it doesn't matter how good you are at what I'm sharing with you right now, you will lose. You will fail. You will fall behind. You will get behind on bills. You will end up saying, I'm going to take a moment and just get my act together. I'm just going to pray about it and figure out what I'm going to do next. You're going to quit. So consistency is your best friend. If you're not consistent, reach out to a support team member and say, hey, I need a game plan because I am not consistent with what I'm doing at all. So recruiting does not have to be hard. As a matter of fact, we make it hard. Recruiting is simply you finding out what that person wants and giving it to them, instead of you trying to push a package that you want for the sake of a commission. They call that the commission breath. And every prospect feels that from a mile away. So find out what the person wants and simply give it to them. Document the results that you're creating with your team members or one team member, but documentation always beats conversation. And then you need posture. Posture only comes from you knowing your stuff. So the more you educate yourself, the better you're going to have as a posture, and the more or better of a posture to have, the more influence you have, the more influence, the more trust, the more trust, the more, what do I do next, boss? Let's go and build a business together. So I hope my message has been received as positively as I intended it for each and every one of you. Keep in mind, we are here to help you start, grow, scale businesses in any sector that you may think of. And definitely, if you are looking for something in the financial space, you got to hit us up. Driven is in the building. Love you. Appreciate you. Until next time, have a blessed day, everybody.